before you rush to diagnose yourself, to doubt your worth, to wonder why you always feel on the edge of something. Pause. Let's strip it down for a second. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, something's wrong with me, but you didn't know what? Have you ever felt like the world was asking too much of you, and yet you kept saying yes? Maybe your body's been screaming for rest, but you've trained yourself to ignore it. Maybe your heart has been whispering, please slow down, but you keep sprinting because you don't want to fall behind. So let me ask you, honestly, when was the last time you felt light? Not carefree, but truly light. Not holding your breath through the day. Not faking it until bedtime. Not smiling through the tightness in your chest. Just light. You don't even remember, do you? You've been carrying too much for too long. And it's not just the stress. It's the stories, the masks, the expectations, the grief, the shame, the unprocessed weight of everything you were told to hold in. That tension in your jaw. That migraine that won't go away. That emotional distance from the people you love. That's not you failing. That's you overloaded. You're not crazy. You're just tired of being everything for everyone. And tonight, for once, I just want you to put it down. Identify the deep struggle. Let's talk about what nobody sees. You wake up every morning already tired. You haven't even done anything yet, but your body feels like it's already been fighting a battle. Why? Because it has. Because while the world is brushing its teeth and checking its emails, you're already bracing yourself for impact, for the noise, the demands, the roles you have to slip into, for the inner critic that starts talking the moment your eyes open. You carry more than most people realize. The responsibility of appearing strong, the guilt of saying no, the weight of keeping your emotions tucked in because you don't want to be a burden. So what do? You keep walking. You carry your family's struggles. You carry the fear of disappointing others. You carry the trauma you never had time to heal from. You carry the pressure to smile even when something inside you is shattering. And everyone around you says, you're doing amazing. And you nod, while dying inside. You've been surviving, not living. You've been running on fumes, pretending it's fuel. And you wonder why joy feels distant, why peace feels impossible. It's not because you're broken. It's because you were never meant to carry this much. Layering the topic, let's imagine your mind is a house. Each room used to be filled with music, color, laughter, daydreams. But over time, those rooms became storage closets, filled with things you didn't have time to process. Arguments, regrets, failures, guilt, grief, pressure. Now the house feels haunted, not by ghosts, but by unspoken weight. Some of those boxes don't even belong to you. They were handed down. That box marked, "Don't show weakness." That was your father's. The one labeled, "Always smile, even when it hurts." That came from school. Never rest unless you've earned it. Society handed you that one with pride. And so you walk through your own mind like a guest tiptoeing around the mess, unsure if it's okay to clean it out. Here's the thing. You can't heal in a place where your pain isn't allowed to exist. If your mind has become a prison of performance and pressure, how can you ever feel safe in your own skin? You need space to feel. You need silence that doesn't scream. You need permission not from others, but from yourself to say, "I've carried this long enough. Let me break the illusion." Strength isn't pretending nothing hurts. Real strength is sobbing in the shower and still getting back up. It's saying, "I'm not okay," when you've spent years being the strong one. It's letting someone hold space for you without apologizing for taking up that space. And right now, I want to hold that space for you. Because you don't need to explain why you're tired. You don't need to list every wound or memory that still stings. It's enough that you feel this heaviness, and it's enough to say, I need help carrying it. You're allowed to fall apart. You're allowed to not know what's next. You're allowed to sit in the dark for a while, as long as you know the light is still inside you. And even if you can't feel it right now, I promise, it's there. Not because I'm trying to inspire you with empty words, but because if you've made it this far, through all that you've endured, there is a resilience in you that's deeper than your doubt. Let me tell you a secret. Most people you admire, the ones who seem calm, grounded, joyful, they're not carrying less. They just stopped carrying what wasn't theirs. They stopped apologizing for needing time. They stopped shrinking themselves to be liked. They stopped proving themselves to people who were never going to understand them. They learned that saying no is a full sentence, that boundaries are acts of self-respect, that healing isn't about perfection, it's about permission. Permission to pause, to cry, to rest without guilt, to drop the performance and finally say, this is me, unfiltered, and I'm done pretending I'm fine. And maybe you're not there yet. That's okay. But I want you to imagine it. What if you didn't have to be everything? What if you could leave some of that baggage behind? Not all of it. Just enough to finally breathe again. So here's what I want you to know, clearly, without any fluff. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not too emotional. You're not lazy. You're overwhelmed. And no wonder you've been carrying it all in silence. But healing begins with honesty. Honesty that says, I can't do this alone anymore. I need a break. I don't want to keep pretending. You're allowed to say those things. You're allowed to feel those things. And if no one ever told you, you're allowed to heal in slow, messy, non-linear ways. You don't have to become some spiritual guru overnight. You just have to be real with yourself. Real about what hurts. Real about what needs to change. Real about what you want to feel. And when you do that, you begin to shed. Not because you're broken, but because you're growing. And growth always begins with release.
So how do you start? Not with a 30-day self-help challenge. Not with a perfect morning routine. Start by listening to yourself. Try this. 1. Check in every morning. Before the world gets loud, ask yourself, what am I carrying today that I don't have to? Even just naming it can be a small act of liberation. 2. Speak out loud. Say the sentence, I'm not okay and that's okay. Say it until the shame around it melts. 3. Unlearn guilt. The next time you rest and your brain screams lazy, respond with, this is healing. This is maintenance. This is necessary. 4. Identify the heaviest thing. What's one belief or pressure that's crushing you right now? Now ask, whose voice is this? If it's not yours, let it go. 5. Create safe rituals. Drink tea without your phone. Walk without purpose. Cry without apology. Rituals don't have to be perfect. They just have to be yours. 6. Choose you. Every time you say yes to someone else but no to yourself, something inside dims. So say yes to you today, even in a small way. Say yes to breathing deeper. Yes to silence. Yes to space. You deserve space.
So here we are, again, just you and me. And maybe now, something feels a little lighter. Maybe you're not cured. Maybe your problems didn't vanish, but something shifted. Because you stopped running. You stood still, and you let the truth land. You're not crazy. You're just carrying too much. You've always been enough. You've always deserved rest. You've always had permission. It just got buried under all the noise. But now you know. You can lay it down, piece by piece, day by day, breath by breath. And when someone asks, how are you so calm lately? You'll smile not because life got easier, but because you finally stopped carrying what wasn't yours. So take a breath, a deep one. Not the shallow kind you've gotten used to, but one that fills your lungs and says, I'm here, I'm healing, and I'm coming home to myself. And when the weight tries to return, because it will just whisper, "Not today. I'm choosing me now."